This is Gene Key, Skyserve, Texas News. A Dallas man is shot in the face in a residential area of West Oak Cliff late Wednesday. The victim drives his pickup truck nearly 10 miles for help. WFAA.com contributed to this report. Just before midnight, the 60-year-old victim called 911 to report he had been shot and was driving himself to Parkland Hospital. He drove for nearly 20 minutes, but had to park a block away from the hospital when he couldn't drive any further. The man had suffered gunshot wounds to the face and shoulders and was transported by EMS with critical injuries. His condition is unknown. He told police he was sitting in his truck when he was approached by an unknown man with a shotgun, who then fired multiple shots at him. Police said a preliminary investigation suggests that this was likely a robbery attempt. Reacting to the tragedy in Dallas, U.S. Senator John Cornyn, a Republican from Texas, introduced legislation Wednesday that would make police a protected class. The TexasTribune.com contributed to this report. The so-called black and blue bill says someone who killed or conspired or attempted to kill a public safety officer, a federally funded law enforcement officer, or a federal judge would be eligible for the death penalty, as well as mandatory minimum 30-year sentences for murder and 10 years for attempted murder. The bill also would create additional federal crimes for fleeing a state to avoid prosecution or for just assaulting an officer, allow officers to carry firearms in federal buildings and other places where they are currently prohibited, and even placing limitations on the appeals process for convicted murderers of police officers. Did you know, according to a new federal study, Texas spending on prisons and jails is the highest in the nation and has grown about 5 times faster than the state's rate of spending growth on elementary and secondary education over the past 3 decades? TexasTribune.org contributed to this report. The U.S. Department of Education found that Texas corrections spending increased by 850% between 1989 and 2013, while the rate of funding for pre-kindergarten to grade 12 education grew by only 182%. In 2013, it spent about $41 billion on schools and $5 billion on incarceration. While Texas had made strides curtailing its once explosive prison population growth, experts say it still hasn't addressed long-lasting structural problems. The number of men and women held in state prisons and jails peaked at 173,649 in 2010. The state currently has about 150,000 inmates. It pays an average $20,000 each year per inmate. The wide disparity in Texas and other states is caused by the state's harsh sentencing laws and the state's enforcement of nonviolent offenses, which have quadrupled the state's incarceration rate. Visit us on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter at Skyserve News Service. This is Gene Key, Skyserve, Texas News.